back, guys. Welcome back to the Worlds Collide podcast. I am one of your hosts, Mandy, and this other goofball, I reckon his name's Michael, something like that. Is that it?
Yeah, I think that's it. That's what I used to have on my shirts.
That what your mama wrote in your underwear?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the right name.
Oh, me. Okay. All right. Hey, we are doing good, guys. This is the second podcast we're recording within a week. All right, guys, we've got some updates to the stories we covered the other day. And we want to go ahead and start with the Ethan Klein Keemstar situation. There were several developments while we were in the process of actually recording, editing, and uploading the previous podcast. And apparently YouTube is listening a little more than we thought they were, because Ethan, H3H3 Productions, H3H3 Podcast, however you want to call it, actually got 2 strikes on their channel and had some of their videos, their content taken down.
Right, 2.
And, you know, of course, a lot of people were very happy about that, weren't they, Michael? I mean...
Yeah, I believe so. And, of course, everybody knows it's just like baseball. After strike 3, what happens?
So you're out.
They're going to have to mind their P's and Q's from, I guess, here on out. Do those ever drop off, or is it that's a permanent thing, isn't it?
I'm not sure how that works. I'm really not. That's something we need to do some investigating on and maybe do an update on at some point. You know, I talk a lot of crap about YouTube, and I get really aggravated with them and their double standards. But for once, they finally did the right thing, and I'm proud of them for that. However, they only did it after Keemstar openly called them out, after a lot of pressure was put on them. So while I'm proud that they did it, it really shouldn't have had to come to what it did for them to ever take action. But guys, this just goes to prove what we were saying in the last podcast, is the more people that raise their voices, the more pressure is going to be put on them, and they're going to start to do things. So I took this as a positive step. I think Michael did as well. Did you not?
Yes, definitely. I was trying to see if I could find any information on it, but that's something I have to go back and check into later. Definitely a positive step. I mean, things go too far sometimes, and up until this point, it seems like they hadn't been reeled in. So,
well, you know, the bad part about it is, though, a lot of people really don't think this was a good thing, and I've seen, you know, of course, Ethan's foot soldiers, as he wants to call his little mob. The foot soldiers are Ethan's version of Trisha's psychotic little sheep. They all need some help, but you know, of course, they were not happy at all. But I've also seen other people that aren't necessarily fans of Ethan or H3, and they were not happy with it. They think that YouTube should have, you know, left Ethan alone, and that Keem was a crybaby, this, that, or the other. It all boils down to, like we were saying before, having rules and policies that apply across the board, not just cherry pick which creators it applies to and which ones it doesn't.
Definitely. It needs to be a level playing field. I did find the information on it. The strike system is a 90-day system. It looks like once you get a strike, or you start out with a warning, and then you go to your first strike. If you do anything else within 90 days, you get a second strike. And if you do anything within 90 days again, it appears you get a third strike. And let's see. Strikes in the same 90-day period will result in your channel being permanently removed from YouTube. Again, each strike will not expire until 90 days from the time it was issued. So there we have it.
Well,
so it's 90 days.
I know one of the videos that was taken down was their most recent podcast where they had basically went at Keemstar yet again. I'm not sure what the other one was. I need to kind of try to look and see what that was. But, you know, Ethan is already in the middle of a lawsuit for streaming the Jake Paul fight from Triller. And he didn't pay for it. You know, he pirated it and then streamed part of it to his audience. And for whatever reason, he thinks he did nothing wrong. And since YouTube has kind of gotten in his butt the past couple of days about all this stuff with Keemstar, now he is on Twitter just royally going at the owner of Twitter, Ryan Kavanaugh, and bringing up all these horrible things Ryan has done. Okay, he may have done these things, you know. That does not change the fact that you stole from his company, that you pirated something from his company.
Pirates.
So, I don't see how Ethan thinks putting out all of Ryan's wrongdoings somehow justify what he did and get him off the hook. I'm having a hard time understanding that one, but
wait, two wrongs don't make a right?
Yeah, surprisingly no. Damn.
Imagine that.
Explains why I got in a lot of trouble over the years. But
true.
You know, a lot of people have had something to say about this, but one of the ones that surprised me most was another creator that I actually like quite a bit. He's a bit controversial himself in many ways, but I think deep down he does have a good heart. And I'm referring to Boogie2988. Everybody knows Boogie, especially if you're part of the gaming community. But I could not agree with Boogie on this situation. I just could not. He put up a video and the thumbnail was him sitting there, and across the top it said end this, and he's talking about how bad this is for the whole community, The thing about it is, though, Boogie, and he openly admitted he had not heard or watched that last podcast, the one that apparently pushed YouTube over the edge. I did see and hear bits and pieces of it, and Boogie was like, you know, well, I guess he was discussing Keemstar and his new girlfriend. It went way beyond discussion, Boogie. Most of what Ethan has been doing for over a year now goes way beyond discussion. And so I was
agree with that.
I was a little disappointed with Boogie on that, but at the same time, I could see where he's coming from. And this feud is hurting the entire YouTube community. I do agree. But at the same time, I don't like Keem, but I cannot be mad at him for standing up for himself and demanding equal treatment. And, you know, where Boogie is right about this feud hurting the community, unfair and unequal treatment hurts the community even more, in my opinion.
In all reality, I wouldn't want to be the one to have to judge what's fair and what's not when it comes to the public eye, because there's no way to please everybody, but at the same time, there does seem to be a very unbalanced bias with a lot of things like this. So
yeah, you're right. And you know, no, I don't envy being in the shoes of anybody at YouTube. It must be a nightmare. But at the same time, if you're going to put these rules in place and enforce them on some creators, you need to be held accountable when you don't enforce them on all of them.
True.
So that's just kind of our take on that situation. You guys, you know, y'all are more than welcome. Share your thoughts and feelings on that. Speaking of,
I mean, we know we're always right. But, hey, do I get a point for the best joke of the?
I was to say that better be a joke, because we sure ain't turning into Ethan, Klein, and Trisha Paytas.
Well, I once thought I was wrong, but I was
If
mistaken.
we are, I want my extra 5%.
It's 5%.
Oh, me. Speaking of thoughts and opinions, though, I did want to make note of this. For some reason, some comments, I will get notifications of comments on the episodes, and they won't actually show in the comment section. So, guys, we just want y'all to know, we're trying to figure out what's going on with that, but we just want y'all to know we are not ignoring anybody. We wouldn't do that. And we appreciate you watching and appreciate your comments.
Most definitely. If I think I can safely say this, as Mandy stays on top of it much more than I do. But if there's not some sort of reaction to your comment, chances are we did not see it.
Exactly. And guys, we are working on setting up a Discord, which will, allow a little more freedom of speech and ensure we do get to see comments. And you guys can also suggest, stories you want us to cover, things like that over there. And we can all get to know each other a little better. So I'm working on getting that set up. Just bear with me on that, but we will get that set up. So hopefully that will help improve communication all the way around.
That's definitely something that I would like to see would be, suggestions for material to cover, because we may not always pick the best stuff to cover. I'm sure there's plenty of things that you guys would rather hear about or get our takes on, and we'd be more than happy to cover it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, let us know.
No, we're always up for learning about new subjects, different subjects, diving into stuff. So like Michael said, let us know. We are all up for it, guys. Now, that having been said, we are about to cover a little pissant that I really cannot stand talking about. Mr. Adam Asshole McIntyre. Yeah. I don't like talking about him, but I think this really needs to be called out. Y'all know Adam has this major hard-on for taking down Shane Dawson for whatever reason. I don't know. Did Shane pee in his Cheerios? It's anybody's guess. But I have said for a long time that him and a couple of the other T channels do not do their research at all. And this tweet to me almost proves that. He is so anxious to bring down Shane Dawson. And for those of y'all that catch the podcast over on YouTube, you'll be able to see a screenshot of this because I'm going to put it up. He retweeted a tweet from a guy named Leo on Twitter. He is at Modelines. On YouTube, he is Leo Trends. And I think he has an Instagram as well. Let's see if I can find it. Yeah, he is Modelines over on Instagram as well. But this tweet, Leo posted a couple of screenshots. The first screenshot was of Shane Dawson's coming out video, the thumbnail, "I'm bisexual." And the second screenshot was of what he had commented on that video 6 years ago. And his comment was, "Unsubbed, shake my head." In other words, he unsubbed from Shane because Shane came out as bi. Well, for some reason, this little snot nose decided he's gonna keep in mind, there's over 150,000 comments on that video. I went and looked. There's, let me double check that number to be sure. Yeah, there is 158,297 comments on that video. So Leo had to dig to find his own comment on there and screenshot it. So he puts these. Go ahead.
Real quick before we get too far along, I opened his page up. That may actually be, I'm not sure if we're pronouncing it right, it may actually be Model Ions.
Yeah,
because he
Model Ions. Yeah, so, that would probably be what it is. I should have thought
2 and 2 together there.
Yeah, I should have thought to look at that. Thank you. Because I think you're right. I think it is Model Ions. Blah, blah, blah. Words are hard. Oh. But he had screenshotted all this and put it up with the caption, when Shane Dawson came out in 2015 and 14-year-old me left a nasty comment. Oh, I ate that. Adam McIntyre retweeted this. Okay, Adam, sweetheart, is it that you are just so out to get Shane you really don't care about the context of why this person left that nasty comment on that video and unsubbed from Shane? Or is it that you didn't bother to do your research and dig into it a little more before you retweeted it? Either way's not real good. And if it was from the lack of, reading and trying to get context and researching, I've always said I really thought that you and a couple of other channels really did not do your homework. And if this tweet is any indication and that's what the situation was, then I guess you just kind of proved me right.
Sounds that way.
I could be taking things wrong. Honestly, this is my opinion. But for somebody that claims, to be an ally and this, that, and the other, I don't get it. I really don't get it. You are retweeting a homophobe. And the comments in this thread on this tweet,
very toxic,
extremely. And yet,
Adam, there's actually two extremes there. There's people that seem to be genuinely very offended, and disappointed, and then there's people that are being just horrific.
Yeah, and
with no empathy, no thoughts of anyone's feelings, they're just spewing their garbage. But
when I first saw Adam had retweeted this, I desperately looked around to see if he had, if maybe he was retweeting it to bring awareness of this little dweeb, or if he had, somewhere at some point inserted his opinion in it, no, this isn't right, something. No, nothing. He just has it out for Shane Dawson so badly. He doesn't care what it is. He's going to retweet it as long as it's against Shane. And that to me proves I was right about how little research he does before he makes his videos, and how he is perfectly willing to take anything out of context as long as it fits his narrative against Shane. And if he's going to do that to Shane Dawson, y'all better believe he's going to do it to anybody.
Absolutely.
So for all of y'all that root for Adam and think he's so great and grand and perfect, think again, because one of these days you may be on the receiving end of his bullshit. Just saying. I'm not going to get on the rant that I did last episode about Adam. I'm not. I'm biting my tongue.
Breathe.
I'm going to let that subject just lay right there, and y'all can come to your own conclusions, okay? For those of you who are catching this maybe on Spotify or whatever platform you listen to podcasts on, you can just go over to Adam's Twitter. He is at allegedly_Adam. And if you scroll down, he posted it, I believe on August 11th or 12th, but the original post was from August 10th. So y'all can see it all there. For those of you who are going to be catching this over on YouTube, you'll be able to see the screenshots because I'm going to make sure I include them all. But now let's get away from discussing this disgusting person. See, I can't even talk when it comes to this boy. I know. So while I take a chill pill, we're going to take a minute and let you guys hear from our sponsors so we can pay some bills, y'all. We'll be right back, guys.
Pay the bill.
Michael, should we tell them about Anchor?
Absolutely.
Okay, guys. let me tell y'all about Anchor. And yes, this is sponsored, but I would be saying this even if they weren't our sponsor. Anchor, if you have not heard about them, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Number one, it's free. Okay, absolutely free.
Free's always good.
Oh, free is fantastic, especially if you go to comparing the prices of some of the software and the platforms for podcasts. When you're just starting out, it can really get on up there. So when you're just starting a podcast, if you've ever thought about it, by all means, check out Anchor, because number one, it's free. Number two, it really simplifies the process a great deal. You've got all the tools that you would need to allow you to record and edit a podcast right from your phone or your computer. The interface is incredibly easy. And, say you want to do an audio version and a video version of your podcast, but you don't want to have to fool with having all these separate files and this, that, and the other. No worries. Sit down, turn on your camera, record the thing, and Anchor will separate the audio from the video for you. So then you can have your audio version and your video version. Just all around, it's a great way if you're looking at starting a podcast to get up and running, just hit the ground running full steam right out of the gate. So by all means, absolutely go check out Anchor, and it's ANCHOR, just like, anchor to a ship. Very easy to find. Look it up, check it out. We'll include links in our descriptions. And just, go take a look at it. I'm pretty sure you'll find it's going to be one of your best options to get up and going. Okay.
Simple and free. You really don't have much to lose there.
Exactly. Absolutely nothing to lose. So go give it a shot. Another sponsor we have today is, as always, as every day, is CM Stars Creations, our parent company. One of the best ways you can support us, go over, check out the CM Stars Creations website at cmstarscreations.com, and you'll find a lot of great merchandise, some directly related to the podcast, as well as some that's, centered around my channel, around Michael's channel, just a variety of things, including some handmade goods such as wine glasses, candles, things of that nature that fall under our homestead, farm, and gifts side of CM Stars. So make sure you go over there, check out CM Stars Creations. Again, that is cmstarscreations.com. Folks, if you really want to support the podcast, there are a number of ways to do that. You're doing one right now just by listening. That's always a great way to support. But if you're looking to take that support, that little extra mile, there are a number of ways to do that, and there is a link to give you that number of ways. Simply head over to our website, worldscollidepodcast.com, and head over to the support tab. There you'll find a whole list of ways to support us, whether it be Patreon, one-time donations, monthly subscriptions, shopping on CM Stars Creations, subbing on YouTube, listening, following on Twitter, following on Instagram, or checking out me or Michael on any of our socials or our websites. You will find links for every bit of that. And I assure you, no matter how you choose to show your support for us and the Worlds Collide podcast, we are ever so grateful. No one form of support is more important than the other. They are all equally important and equally appreciated. So thank you very much. And again, head over to worldscollidepodcast.com.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back.
Hi, y'all.
Once again, I'm Michael, the same guy that was here before the break.
Are you sure? You look a little different. Is that you?
He's tied up in the corner, but I'm impersonating. But anyway,
Yeah,
So,
Discord's going a little robot on us again. Sorry, guys.
yeah, Discord hates us. Anyway, there's a release something. What was that coming up?
Oh, that.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys, I started with my Rise series and then, started the spin-off from that, Sandbox. And I've had a lot, well, not a lot. I've had a couple of release dates scheduled previously, but some things came up that forced me to have to delay those release dates. But now we have a release date that is set in stone. Michael, you want to tell them what day Sandbox will be released?
I believe that's going to be on Halloween.
That's right, guys. Halloween, Sandbox will officially be released. And for those of you who don't know or may only know me from this podcast or from gaming, I'm also a writer. And what year was that I released Rise? 2018? Yeah, I think it was 2018. I'm pretty sure it was 2018. 2018, I decided to start a series called Rise that is based within the gaming community, and it's an apocalyptic series. Zombies, all those good fun things, and it has spawned a spin-off, which is Sandbox, and the first installment of Sandbox will be released on Halloween this year. So I'm gonna, pretty soon over on my channel, have a trailer up, all that good stuff. And Sandbox features some gamers that I absolutely adore and love. One of them is JC from JC's channel, and the other is Cap. So I will include links to their channels. You guys really should go check them out. They are awesome people, gamers, just generally good people that I have grown quite fond of over the years. And we do still have a third installment of the original series, Rise, coming out. And we have another series that's called City of Hope that's going to be coming out. And City of Hope, while it isn't like a spin-off of Rise or Sandbox, it is along the same lines, and it does feature real life creators from the gaming community. And at some point, I'm not going to say when, but at some point, all three series and their characters will intersect. So that's something to be looking out for. And I have a few other books in the works right now. One that is a very different genre, called Pawpaw's Country Store. I'll be releasing some more information about that soon, but I've got roughly 8 books in the works right now that will be coming out between now and the end of next year. So yeah, it's been a lot of work. It's been hectic. That's why I'm not as consistent on my channel as I would like to be, but it's all starting to pay off. So there you have it.
And just for the record, that was March 4th, 2018.
I knew it was 2018. I couldn't remember the exact date though. So yeah, that's when that was. So if you guys are into the apocalypse, if you're into gaming, by all means, check them out. You can find links to them on our websites. I'll drop a few links below. And like I said, I'll have the trailer for Sandbox out pretty soon. So there you have it. We're announcing it here before I've even announced it on my channel. So I don't know.
You heard it here first, folks.
Well, it depends on how soon we get this podcast edited and up. So we'll see.
Hopefully you heard it here first, folks.
Oh, me. Now, guys, we want to start doing the creator spotlight we had talked about before. It's going to be a new segment on here where we pick out, it's going to be kind of like the Friday teaser on my channel. With Friday Tease, I pick out a creator, a streamer, somebody in the online community that I feel, even if they've got a little controversy or anything like that around them, I still feel has a lot to offer. and is generally a positive person. And this week, I wanted to talk about somebody. Well, let's see how many of y'all could guess it. Let's just see. And I cannot do his voice, so don't come for me on that. But in today's video, girl, you won't believe the drama.
You won't believe the drama.
There you go, Michael. Can you remember what else he says? He's got all the what?
Receipts and deleted tweets.
There you go. There you go. I was going to say, don't you mess up Rich's sayings. Guys, we are talking about the amazing Rich Lux. And there's a lot of reasons I picked Rich for this one. And I did run, me and Michael run everything by each other first before we cover anything. So, of course.
Usually I say no when she says, okay, we're doing it anyway. And I say, okay.
Oh, did you say no about Rich?
Absolutely not.
All right. No, I know a lot of people are going to yell, well, he's part of the drama community, the tea community, he's a tea channel, whatever. And yeah, some of his content is kind of like that. But one thing about him, yes, he is going to tell you about the drama that's currently going on. But he's also going to try to see both sides of it. And that's, to me, is what makes him different from most tea channels. He tries to see both sides and he tries to be fair. He doesn't just run with the popular opinion at the time.
Yeah, he tends to, seems like to me, he draws his own conclusions based on what he can find.
Yes. And
rather than just going with the popular opinion.
Yeah. And one of the things I love about Rich is, a lot of people online, you could tell they're fake. You could tell the persona they're putting out in front of the camera is not them. I don't get that impression with Rich. I think with Rich, what you see is honestly what you get. And he is very welcoming to everybody of all walks of life. He's just very kind, very giving, and he promotes the hell out of small businesses. I don't know if you've picked up on that or not, Michael, but he is big on promoting small businesses, creators smaller than him. And you don't see too many that are in his position. No, he's not the biggest YouTuber out there, but he's got a decent sized audience. And he's still working his way up. And while he's working his way up, he's trying to help pull others up as he goes. You don't see that out of a lot of creators.
No, you don't. Definitely. And that's definitely a commendable thing.
And I don't know, he's just such a sweetheart. And when he smiles, it's like a genuine smile. It's not like, now you can tell when it's a sarcastic little shit-eating smile that he does every now and then. But when it's when it's something that really touches him and makes him happy, you could tell it's a genuine smile. He just seems like a very genuine person, and he actually has a few channels, and I'll link them below. He's got, of course, the tea channel, and then he's got his vlog channel. If you ever catch him over on Instagram Live, he's just like a real, like a real person. Of course, he's a real person, but, it's like sitting around with one of your friends having a chat. And he tries to interact with everybody, and he'll, invite people to join him on live and just sit and talk about things. And I don't know, he's just one of the few creators that really seems genuinely warm, So I will be linking all of Rich's links below, so you guys really, really need to go check him out and say howdy.
Absolutely.
Okay, now we've gone from talking about a man that to me is pure sunshine to we're going to talk about the ugly situation with Blizzard. So let's get it over with.
Bring in the dumpsters.
Yeah.
Got a torch. Got a torch. It seems like Activision Blizzard, which is probably one of the biggest, if not the biggest, game developers, I guess you would say, in the industry. I mean, you're talking titles like World of Warcraft, Call of Duty, um, Diablo, some pretty major, major titles in the spotlight for several different reasons. Seems that they're, I don't know, I guess the corporate structure, or the what's the word I'm looking for here? The corporate environment is more of a allegedly more of a frat boy type environment. Pardon the term. It's
Yeah.
just coming from the news stories that I've read on it. But it appears that, I don't know, the I guess you would say it was more of a male dominated workplace environment where, and of course this is alleged, these are claims that have been put out there.
Yeah.
The Department of Fair Employment and Housing has filed suit. They're definitely digging into it.
And keep in mind, guys, all of this news broke, what, a few weeks ago?
Yes.
And
I believe it was. Around August 11th is when this article was put out, which was just a few days ago.
Yeah, but the original news of like some of the stuff concerning women broke a few weeks ago, but more and more just keeps coming out.
Yes, definitely. It seems that now that all of this has been kind of brought to light, and there was pushback from a lot of the employees because of the way that Activision Blizzard handled the allegations to start with. They just kind of blew them off.
Yeah.
And it's over 2,000 employees signed an open letter calling for the company to face the facts and acknowledge what was going on, allegedly. So that has developed into some of the big dogs either leaving or being let go from the company.
Yep.
Ones that had to see, was a designer for World of Warcraft, the director of upcoming Diablo 4, and the game's lead designer have, quote, have left the company, but it's also been said let go. So I'm not sure whether it was voluntary or involuntary.
I've heard that they walked out, and then I've also, like you were just saying, there's news articles saying that they were fired. So, but either way, they're gone.
Yes.
And
the president of the company, it does say, resigned in early August.
Well, with the biggest thing I'm seeing within the gaming community, the reactions to all of these, big players exiting, a lot of people are worried what's going to happen with the bigger titles like Call of Duty, World of Warcraft. Diablo 4 was set to be released. There's speculation that it may be canceled now. Blizzard
or
has
nothing else, at least passed off to new developers and designers or whatnot. I'm not sure how big the team is.
Well, a lot of people have been expressing concerns about that as well. If that happens, is it going to be somebody that has a totally different vision of the game and completely changes the game and the direction of it? And a lot of players are really worried. So,
and really so. When you, I can speak from my own personal experiences. When you follow a game through the years it's around, you kind of, there's certain things you kind of hope stay in place. I've kind of fought change in a lot of the games that I played over the years.
Oh, you know my history with the change of 7 Days to Die, so I get it. Trust me.
Definitely. Mine spurs all the way back to, Ultima Online back in the late 90s. Vanilla Ultima Online, I loved it. Up through the first couple of expansions, I guess. I can't remember if that was the correct term during that time period or not. But once it got to a certain point, it's like it became a different game.
Yeah.
And then it just kept progressing in my opinion, the wrong direction. Which, of course, that's my opinion. Obviously, they're still around.
Yeah.
So obviously, they were doing something right for a certain group of people, but just the original base group that was there, it seems to have dwindled away, and then new people came along after that.
No, and that's the fear a lot of people have right now, is that's what's going to happen with Blizzard's titles. And I just want to say this from a player standpoint. There's a lot of reason to be concerned right now, and to really be taking a hard look at Blizzard. And as a woman in gaming, there's a lot of concern about Blizzard and their treatment of females. And right now, I hate to say it, but Blizzard is kind of a shit show.
It would appear that way.
And they've been one of the biggest names in gaming for how many years now?
A considerable amount of time. World of Warcraft's been around forever, it seems like. And that's a title that I played from vanilla up through quite a few of the expansions. And even after leaving World of Warcraft, a lot of times after a new expansion comes out, I'll revisit it, for maybe a month or two or something like that, and see what the new expansion's about, and then I may drop off again. But so I've been checking into that, on and off. I played it heavy when vanilla first came out, and then through the first couple of expansions. But in which expansions brings me to another talking point, I guess you would say, on this, where we're talking about games changing. I remember Mandy and I were talking the other day when Cataclysm, I believe I'm pronouncing that right, came out. I can't remember which zone I was in at the time when I had logged out before that was released. But anyway, I come back in, and it's like I don't even recognize the zone at all.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow. It was like a totally different game. They destroyed half of the map, it seemed like. So it that was a shock to the system. So I'm kind of wondering, where the future is going with that. It's been so long since I played World of Warcraft, I may not even recognize the game now. But
as bad as all this is, honestly, I can see one good thing that's come out of it.
What's that?
Well, a lot of devs, they only do games for console or games for PC. A lot of them do it that way. But Blizzard being one that has titles that are on PC and console, this has kind of, in a lot of ways, to a small degree, a very small degree, okay? Y'all don't come for me on this. But it's kind of united.
They're coming for you, Mandy. They're really coming for you.
The thoughts of pissed off PC and console players coming from me scares the hell out of me. I'd rather deal with the apocalypse. Don't even joke. But it's kind of united those two communities, because a lot of times there's a lot of beef and a lot of argument between PC players and console players. And so
yes, there is.
This situation kind of puts everybody in the same boat. So it can't be, us versus them versus us, any of that. This affects all of us now. So in a way, it maybe a little good's coming out of it by, making a lot of players on both sides realize, hey, we're all still players, and we're all going to get affected by things the same way sometimes.
True. And actually, one of the things that I'm kind of curious on, and like I said, of course, these are allegations right now. Nothing that I'm aware of has been actually proven. But it's a whole lot of allegations not to get your attention, I guess you would say. But something that comes to my mind is the player base. A company with that sort of environment, naturally it's going to bleed into what they're putting out.
Yep.
And it's also going to bleed into their player base.
Yep.
And playing online games since back in the 90s, I have seen some of the worst toxic groups of people
Yes.
in my life in online gaming. And at the same time, I've seen some of the best, most awesome groups of people in online gaming. I've seen both extremes of that. I've seen groups, guilds, like in Ultima Online, groups of friends that were like family.
Yeah.
And then in World of Warcraft, I've seen people that were just out for themselves and just garbage towards everybody else.
And we've all seen the clips and heard the horror stories about Call of Duty.
Oh, yes. Yes, definitely.
And our son plays a lot of that, but even he sometimes will mute everybody, and because it's just that bad sometimes.
Yeah, I never really could get into that game for that reason, and that's kind of sad, really. And I mean, it's not that I'm some kind of pansy or whatever that gets their feelings hurt, but I just really don't want to listen to a lot of the stuff that goes on.
Well, I avoid most online games like that because of the toxicity. Because for me, gaming is my escape from the things that I don't want to think about or that bother me. It's my way to relax
and to get away from the toxic.
Yes. So I don't want it in my gaming. So yeah, I avoid a lot of online games because of that fact.
Yes. And so I guess my hopes in this is, number one, if things are going on at Blizzard and Activision that are being accused, that they'll clean up their act and rein in their employees and make a much better environment for the female employees there. Because, when it comes to STEM careers, more women are jumping in there, and I think that's awesome. And programming development, design, all of that falls right in line with all of that. And it should be an equal playing field when it comes to that. And then hopefully by straightening out that end of it, it will trickle down and maybe clean up the player base a little bit as well.
I would hope so. I mean, we all know that for women in gaming, it can be hell anyway. Because you can, all right, let me clear this up. Got, women like me, like Grid, like Wrath, I can name several, Dragoness, Redaboo. I can name a lot of damn amazing women I know in gaming. And it's not that easy for us because we either get judged by our age, our looks, or get told point blank, women have no business in gaming. So, you've already got a lot, it's like a male-dominated world where a lot of the male players have that theory, and then you've got one of the biggest companies in the industry treating women that way. It's just going to make things worse for any woman looking into going into the business side of gaming or who is a player. And I'm sorry, but that's bullshit. And if you're one of these douchebags that believes women don't belong in gaming, I'm sorry it hurts your little feelings that a woman can play better than you. But, go cry to mommy and shut the fuck up. I'm sorry.
Alrighty
That just makes me mad as hell. And if you're one of these douchebags, like the ones we're being told about at Blizzard, if they in fact did the things that they did, such as that cube crawl bullshit, I really, really hope one of these days a woman gets to hand you your ass. Okay, I'm done now. That's the only rant I'm going to do on that.
Yeah, I mean, if you really break it down, it goes way past gaming.
Yeah.
It's an employment. It's a place of employment. There's laws and rules and regulations in place for a reason.
Yes, absolutely.
So take the gaming out of it and what they do out of it, just the business structure itself, that sort of crap shouldn't be going on to begin with.
No, it shouldn't. And it's a disgrace. And
it is.
It just furthers, I mean, yes, gaming has become more acceptable in the past few years. But you still have a very large part of society that looks down on us as it is. And then you have this type of crap making the headlines. It's just doing further, to me, it's just doing further damage to the image of the gaming community.
Yes, I completely agree. And one thing that I also wanted to cover too, and I've seen, I can't remember the names right off, but I did see, I wish I could remember the name. I did see one content creator that was attacked for kind of being unclear and seeming like they still supported the games that were being developed, and they went under full attack by their community.
But see, here's the thing though, a lot of times when you're supporting a game, you're not necessarily just supporting those developers, you're supporting the community that grew around that game. And not all members of that community are going to have that same shitty mindset or have been a part of what went on. So, I don't know. I guess you got to walk a thin line.
Yes, definitely. Where I stand on that, just to be perfectly clear, I can't say from day one that I supported Blizzard and Activision at all. Did I play their games? Yes. Because I like playing their games. I paid really no attention to what the company was doing.
Yeah.
I like playing the games that they put out. But as far as the way I view it, if I were to look at it and say, okay, this company's being accused of this, so I'm no longer going to play their game. There's two ways you can look at that. Number one, by boycotting them, you're saying, okay, I'm not going to support this type of toxic environment for your employees. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to play your games anymore. That's going to hit your bottom line as a company. You're going to see that I'm not happy, and when I say I mean, the whole gaming community.
Yeah.
At the same time, the victims of that are also employees at this company.
Exactly.
That you're hurting.
Yep, because that's going to cause layoffs and job cuts and...
Yes. So what's the right thing to do? It's anybody's guess.
Basically, Blizzard has put everybody in a hell of a position.
Yeah, I say do what you feel like it's right. I wouldn't judge a player based on whether they kept playing the games or whether they didn't keep playing the games. It's whatever they feel is right. Because either way, in my opinion, is right, depending on your reasoning for it. Well, if you're still trying to support the people that were victims that obviously have stayed there because they're trying to keep their career and want to make it a better place, then by all means, keep playing their games.
Yeah. It's a personal preference. I mean...
Yes.
Well, good and well, one of my favorite games and a game that I have a lot of time in, there's some things going on the dev side I don't agree with. We're not going to call anybody out, but there's some things going on I just really don't think are right. I don't agree with. It pisses me off. But I still play the game. And the reason I do that is because this particular game has an amazing community around it. And I don't want to abandon them. And I also know a few people that work for this particular dev, and they're good people. they don't need to have to lose their jobs because of all this. So it is a personal preference, and nobody should be hating somebody either way. The only person any hate should be targeted at is the person who actually did something. And if it comes out that all of this stuff is true, then by all means, Blizzard needs to be held accountable. They need to, I would say at the very least, some compensation needs to be made to the employees that were put through this. And they need to seriously, and if they did let these people go, they may already be doing this. They need to seriously look at restructuring the people within the company. And like I said, if they already let some people go, that may be what they're already doing.
Yes, that's what it sounds like. Like I say, with the president stepping down, and whether the other employees were let go or whether they left on their own terms, it's undeniable that they were senior employees.
Yeah.
So basically, you have the president and 3 senior employees at least. I'm not sure if anything's happened since then, but the president and 3 senior employees leaving. What I see from a business point of view in that is just opened up 4 positions for people that are not okay with that type of behavior, that don't support the frat boy mentality, as it was labeled in this article. And I think we all know, that could be considered an incorrect term, but I think we all know exactly where they're going with that.
Well, come on, though. I mean, that's the first thing that comes to mind is college frat boys acting like idiots when you hear they're getting drunk and doing these cube crawls to female employees' cubes to sexually harass them.
Yes.
That I think,
including but not limited to groping.
Yeah.
According to the accusations. So yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see where this goes. But back to my earlier point, though, with these positions opening up, that, like I said, that leaves space for potentially some of the victims to move into these positions and change the structure of the company.
That would be awesome.
Yes, and just change the overall environment into a better environment. If we boycott these games,
they're
not going to stand a chance.
No.
If we continue to try to support them, looking at it from the point of view of, okay, give the new people a chance now that some of the older ones are out. My guess, and this is just a guess, it's speculation, these people left or were turned loose for a reason.
Yeah. My
guess is they were probably part of the problem. I could be completely wrong and off base on that. It's an opinion. It's a guess. It's, Well,
I did read an article a couple of weeks ago that said that it was senior officials involved in encouraging junior employees to do this. So... Yeah.
And, of course, the junior employees are going to fall in line, with whatever the upper management is doing because, number one, they want to keep their jobs. Number two, they want to fit in. And, I mean, if that's the corporate environment you're in, I'm sure there was probably people going along with it, trying to stomach it, that really didn't agree with it just to fit in. And that's sad if that's the case. But
yeah, incredibly.
But at the end of the day, hopefully... I said this will open the door for a complete restructuring where it'll be a much better company once it's all said and done with. And hopefully that's what happens, and hopefully the game survive, this whole incident.
From your lips to the gaming god's ears. Well, we just got through talking about what may potentially be some douchebags. Let's just, dive headfirst into the...
full douchebaggery.
Yeah, full douchebaggery of it all. And what we're referring to, last week I pointed out a douchebag last episode I pointed out a douchebag on Facebook, and today we have a couple of more Facebook douchebags of the week here, guys. Gotta love them, gotta love them. Facebook never failing to come through with this crap. The first one, I guess you could actually call her really a negative Nancy, because her name is Nancy. And
imagine that.
Yeah. She posts a lot on any news article concerning COVID. Any of them, all of them, she's got something negative to say. She is an anti-vaxxer, anti-mask, and, you know, that's fine if that's your theory on it. We, personally, I'll just go ahead and say I am pro-mask and pro-vax. But you don't have to go at someone, no matter which side of the fence you're on, the way this woman is going at it. There was a news article, Florida mother dies of COVID-19 days after giving birth, which is heartbreaking if you sit and really let that sink in. But all this woman had to say, her name is Nancy Milberger, and Nancy, good little Nancy, where are you from, sweetheart? Florence, Alabama. Damn.
Wow.
I love Florence. You making all of Florence look bad right now, heifer. Her only question and concern with this woman's death was, did she have the jab? Followed by 3 question marks. Very sad, but she was probably vaxxed. Followed by a line of exclamation points. You know what? When you're talking about someone's death, I don't care which side of the fence you're on with this. You should not bring those kind of views to the table and let that be the only thing you have to say.
Absolutely. It's a human life we're talking about.
Yes, a newborn baby that has to live without its mother. She left behind a husband that is now going to have to take care of this newborn while grieving the death of his wife. So, Miss Nancy, I was polite to you on Facebook. All I said was, why do this here on this post? Have some respect. Here on this podcast, though, I don't have to be so nice. So I'm just going to call you what you are. You are a raging bitch for doing that. This family is going through enough without your bullshit. And
Absolutely.
That brings me to the second Facebook douchebag of the week, Mr.
Hang on before you move on.
Alrighty.
And this is just to throw some stuff out there. Like I say, I know everybody has an opinion on, you know, whether vaccinations are a good thing, whether vaccinations are a bad thing. I'm not going to put an opinion out there. I'm just going to put facts out there.
Go for it.
It's a proven fact that, well, number one, let me back up and retrace here. There's not enough information on either side for us to tell which way is the right direction in the long run. I don't care whether you're pro-vaccination or anti-vaccination. Nobody can sit here and say that they know exactly which way is the right way because there's not enough proof either way. With that said, what there is proof of is that the symptoms are much milder for people that do have the vaccination and end up with a breakthrough case.
Yes.
So I'm just going to leave that right there. That's as far as I'm going to go with it. That is clinical proof. There's clinical proof of that the cases are much milder for people with the vaccination.
Yes.
On the other hand, still make your own decisions. Do your own research. Determine whether you want it or whether you don't want it. And stick to that decision, but quit trying to convince other people otherwise, is my view on it.
And quit diminishing the deaths.
Yes, definitely.
I see way too many people. Well, it's only been so many deaths. You know, it's just this percentage survives, and that's a very high percentage. So what are we worried about? If it was your child, your mother, your father, your husband, your wife, you would not be sitting there spewing that bullshit. Because that death would hit you hard. And I'm sorry, even if it is this much of a survival rate, and speaking of which, most of the assholes I see quoting that quote it wrong. But
there's a lot of misinformation
oh
out there.
yes. But even if you want to look at it that way, even if the percentage is a thing for you, if that's something that you're looking at, if you're going, okay, well, this says that the percentage of survival rate is this high. Okay, wonderful. That's great. But a lot of people I see quoting that have quoted it wrong. And, you know, just put all that aside for a second. The people that did die were real humans. They had families and friends, people who loved them. They had dreams, ambitions, and goals. And their deaths should not be diminished. You should not be able to look at their deaths and go, those don't matter because these over here survived. More survived than died. You know, that is so wrong. And for you to bring that bunch of bullshit to a news article about a mother dying, it's wrong. It is so wrong. And don't get me wrong, I've seen people on posts like this that are on the other side of the fence. They're pro-vax, they're pro-mask. And they will come to these and start the same kind of stuff. But, you know, from their point of view, their side. Just stop that. That is not the time. Because these families see these remarks and all they're not thinking in political terms or this side terms or that side terms. All they're thinking is about their grief. So
Absolutely.
If you've got to say something, just give your condolences and move the hell on. And that kind of brings me to the next douchebag. And this is Mr. Steve Netherton from Decatur, Alabama. I have seen him on multiple. I lost count of how many I've seen him do this on. Anything about a COVID death, and he will respond with fake news. That's all he'll put. That is completely unreal to me. So now not only are we going to just totally disrespect someone's death, now we're actually going to call it fake. And I actually saw him argue with one person on a post, actually saying that these people didn't even die, that they were paid actors.
Wow. I wonder how those people's family feel about, you know.
Exactly. And,
oh boy.
well, he actually said they did not die, that the news was hyping it up, and somebody else chimed in with him once saying they were paid actors, and he didn't disagree. So it's just,
of course, it supported his narrative. So
yeah, I am sorry, but when you can act like this over someone's death, no matter which side of the fence you are on, you are a douchebag. So that's why Miss Negative Nancy and Mr. Shithead Steve get the Facebook Douchebag of the Week award from us.
congratulations, douchebags. Give them a round of applause. Give them a clap.
Yay! Oh, now here is the real kick in the butt, though. As much as I dog Facebook, all right, I was, looking at all this stuff and, scrolling through different things. And as I'm scrolling through all this, I came across two very positive things. Facebook showed me something positive. Not one thing, but two.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, what?
Way to go, Facebook. You're on a roll. Hey, you guys may be turning things around too.
Fingers crossed. But the first one was a gentleman by the name of Mr. Cooper Allen. And I'll insert a little clip of what he did somewhere right around in here. Let me pull up his TikTok. What it was is somebody had actually shared something from his TikTok, and it was incredible. Did I close out his TikTok? Dadgummit, Mandy. Open it back up. But I showed it to Michael as soon as I found it. What did you think of it when you saw it?
I thought it was pretty neat. I have to question whether that was a shoot from the hip thing or whether that was very, 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 very rehearsed. But either way, even if it was rehearsed, it was pretty awesome.
It was awesome. Now, guys, who Mr. Cooper Allen is, he is a musician, got a very nice voice, and what I'm referring to is a mashup that he did on his TikTok, and let me tell you guys, it was awesome. Let me play just a little bit of it, and I will insert a link to all of his socials, including his TikTok and including this specific TikTok, so you guys can check it out. But I'm not going to play a whole lot because a lot of what he's singing is copyrighted, so, you know.
Longest mashup you can.
Shit, okay. 3 minutes?
Yep.
I was riding shotgun with my hair undone in the front seat of his car, singing, life is one big party when you're still young, but who's gonna have your back when it stacks on deck? Patron on ice, we can pop bottles all night, and you can have a little chicken fry. Cold beer on a Friday night. I can't tell you what it really is, I can only tell you what it feels like. And right now it's a steel night, and my windpipe buckle makes impressions on the inside of her thigh. Yeah, my baby don't.
Like I said, you guys can go check out his TikTok, his Instagram. Just go check out. I think he's got a Twitter. I'll have to double check that. But it was incredible. He had a little Taylor Swift in there. He had some Shaggy, some Tupac, some Toby Keith. He did it so seamlessly. Even if it was rehearsed, you would think he still would have flubbed up somewhere, wouldn't you, Michael? I mean,
yeah. That's what leads me to believe that it had been rehearsed, and even so, like you said, it's still hats off for pulling off something like that. But I would, me personally, I've been a musician for quite a few years, played live quite a few years. And I will be the first one to say that shooting from the hip, I doubt very seriously he would have nailed that unless they tried like 100 different takes.
But even if it was rehearsed, it just seems to me there were so many different songs in there, so many different artists. It seems to me like he would have at least stumbled at some part. He didn't even stumble. And I'm sitting there going, oh, wow, guy. And then I went and checked out his socials. This guy has an incredible voice. He's opened for Travis Tritt before. He is out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Tar Heels boy. So, yeah, y'all definitely need to go check him out. I just thought it was really cool. And it was just fun. It was something happy and fun. And, you know, usually, I hate to say it, but these days online, you don't see a lot of happy and fun, and especially not out of Facebook. So the fact that this TikTok was going around Facebook like it was, I thought that was just incredible. You know, just something absolutely no politics, no COVID, no nothing involved, just happy and fun. And
very rare.
Yes.
Very rare now.
And it made me smile. It made me smile. So y'all absolutely need to go check it out. Now, Michael, I think we found something else from Facebook to smile about too, didn't we?
I believe we did.
And she's absolutely gorgeous. We are talking about a very sweet, adorable little girl. Her Facebook is called Lilac's Little Legs.
Strong.
This little girl, she has got the strength of 10 men. She was a year old, didn't it say she was, Michael, when she was diagnosed?
I can't remember exactly how old she was.
I believe it said she was a year old, and she was diagnosed with a form of cerebral palsy. And Michael, you could say it better than I can.
I believe I've got the pronunciation right. Spastic dysplasia.
I think that's right. And
Basically, the way it was explained is basically her legs are paralyzed, and they were told that she may never speak.
yeah,
She may never be able to talk.
they were told, her parents were told she would probably, well, her mom. I haven't really seen. I haven't had time yet to dig deep and to see much about her dad and stuff on there. But I've seen a lot about her mom on there. Okay, here it is. Here it is, though. Here's her dad. Okay, I did not see earlier that this gentleman was her dad. I don't see his name, though. But then again, I haven't really seen much about her mom's name on here. This is definitely a page I'm going to be following a lot more. I want to dig deeper into this family because they seem so diverse and so positive and just incredible. But her parents were told that she would never walk or talk. Well, I guess Pretty Little Lilac decided the doctors just didn't know what they were talking about.
She didn't get the memo.
No, she did not get that memo. And she's not caring. Oh, stop. I'm trying to get her Facebook to stop. I was scrolling through it and it started playing.
Good.
But, you really need to go check her out. You know, a lot of us in the world, we bitch and we gripe and we growl when we're perfectly able, you know. This little girl has every reason to, like, just give up. Her parents could have just give up and went, well, okay, you're disabled, so you can't do this and you can't do that. No, they did right the opposite. They encourage her to do sports and to dance and to sing, and because of that, she has become such a strong little girl and such an inspiration. And you know, a lot of y'all may know I have POTS syndrome, and I try to pride myself on most of the time trying not to let POTS change my life or the way I live or feel sorry for myself. But there are days, I'm not going to lie, there are days, like, you know, days when we're out at the store and suddenly my body decided it wants to shut down in the middle of the store, you know. Or days my legs don't want to work. Things like that, you know, sometimes, yeah, I want to feel sorry for myself. But then you look at this little girl. Her condition is worse than my POTS, naturally. And it seems like she doesn't... I'm sure she probably has those days once in a while. But to be 6 years old and be as positive and upbeat and strong as she is makes me ashamed of the times I want to feel sorry for myself, you know? So...
Absolutely. And it actually is funny while we were sitting here talking about it. Sorry that I was absent there for a few minutes because I was looking up something. Just talking about her made me think of some song lyrics, of course. And it seems like every conversation I have always leads me to a song somewhere.
That's a dang musician, y'all.
Relates to it. Yes, I guess that's part of the musician coming out. But actually brings me to a song that was put out 2005 by Flyleaf called "Fully Alive." And part of the lyrics, it really relates to this and what you were just saying. All my complaints shrink to nothing. I'm ashamed of all my somethings.
Yep.
But,
I get it.
And it goes on to, she's glad for one day of comfort only because she has suffered. That really hits heavy with something like that. It's like, you know, my problems are not problems.
Well, you know, Michael, you've heard me say it a million times. You know, I've had a lot of people once they realize what Potsy is, or that I'm actually quote unquote sick. Because most people look at me and go, but you don't look sick. Not all illnesses show on the surface, you know. But it kind of aggravates me sometimes too, because people will suddenly change the way they look at me. Now they look at me like with pity. I don't need your pity, y'all. Because I'm going to be honest, in as big a pain in the ass as my POTS can be, it's also kind of been a blessing. Because, especially when you're young, but this applies to all age groups, most people always think, you know, okay, I've got tomorrow. I could do this tomorrow. I could do that tomorrow. My POTS made me realize, okay, I may not be able to do this tomorrow. So, I need to live now. And yeah, I have to adjust sometimes the way I do things or something, but it's a small price to pay for something that has taught me to appreciate all the little things in life. The things I didn't notice before. And to really realize how beautiful the world is, even for all the negative bullshit, even the negative bullshit we talk about on here. It's still a beautiful world and a life worth living. So, and this little girl seems like she's got that theory down even more than I do. As a matter of fact, her mother posted, let me see if I can find it. Her mother posted something that really hit home for me. I'm trying to see if I can find it real quick. I'm scrolling. Oh, here it is. My daughter doesn't need pity. She needs equity. That hits, you know. We don't need to be pitied. We just need to be treated as equal. Because while physically we may not be equal to everybody else, to, you know, in a physical status, but our lives, our emotions, our mental capacities, just what we think, what we feel, it's all just as important as what any abled person thinks, feels, you know. I don't know. Sometimes it bothers me to see people look at people like this little girl with pity, because I'm going to tell y'all right now, I envy her. Because she loves definitely. Life. She knows who she is and what she wants to do. And, you know, that may change. Of course, she's only 6. She's, you know, it's going to change and evolve. But she's still comfortable in her own skin. How many of us can say that? So I adore this child. I adore this child. And I doubt her mom, or any of her family will ever hear this. But little Miss Lilac, if you happen to, you are officially one of my heroes, sweetheart. And your family, they are friggin' amazing. You know, the page is mainly about Lilac, but there are things about the rest of the family on there, and the way that they function and operate and pull together as a family is just incredible. So you guys really, really need to go check out Lilac's Little Legs.
Absolutely.
But, Michael, is there anything else we needed to cover during this particular episode?
I can't think of anything right off.
I think
we have missed.
I think we covered everything we wanted to with this episode. And guess what, y'all? It wasn't all negative.
Yay!
Yay, yes! And guys, we are going to make it a point. I mean, we are going... How can I put this? We are never going to not cover something we think needs to be pointed out, or that we feel is wrong in the world, just because we don't want to cover something negative. At the same time, we want to start kind of spotlighting more the positive too, because like I said just a minute ago, for all the world's faults, it's still a beautiful world. There are a lot of beautiful, wonderful, amazing people in this world, and that needs to be spotlighted and celebrated too. But I think we are done for now. So we are going to get out of here. And again, we're not going to make promises on when the next episode will be. We're just going to start putting them out as we can and try not to go 5 or 6 months in between episodes like we did after the first one again. So,
and,
yeah.
And to close things out, it took me a minute to find this. Once again, sorry, I was Googling again. But so what you were talking about the, all in all, the world being a positive place.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, brought me to another song.
Go figure.
And to me, one of the most memorable, I guess you would say, songs of my lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it's because of some of the imagery in it I can relate to.
Wait. Shush. I bet I know what you're talking about. You want to let me guess?
You already know.
Winds of Change.
Yes.
Yep. I knew it. Beautiful song. Incredible song.
Yep. A lot of the things in the video, were from before my time.
Mm-hmm.
But some of them I do remember. And it just gives me a nostalgic feeling, I guess you would say, to that point. And a lot of them were positive things that were changed. But the way that song ends is a quote from Sally Ride, the first American woman in space. And what she says is, when you look at it from up here, you get an appreciation that our world is a beautiful place and we really need to take care of it. We really do need to take care of it.
Yep.
And it made me think of that. And that was always a powerful statement.
What, guys, we noticed the other day, I know we're supposed to be closing out, but I do want to add something. We noticed the other day that we've recently picked up a little bit of a younger percentage in our audience. And for those of you that are younger, we have lived through a time where we have seen, us old folks,
Yep.
We have seen the world come, and this country and the U.S. come through some horribly dark, negative crap. And I remember as a kid thinking this is never going to end. But it does. It really does. So even if you've given up on the world, step back and rethink that theory, because sooner or later it will end. There is light at the end of the tunnel. And go watch the video for the song Michael is talking about, Winds of Change by Scorpion, if I remember correctly, right?
That's correct.
I will link it below. You'll see some of the stuff we saw the world go through as we were growing up, as we were maturing. And just keep in mind, all of that stuff passed, and a lot of the stuff that's going on right now will too. But the only way it will is if people don't give up. No matter how disheartened you are, no matter how disgusted you are, if you really want it to change, you cannot give up.
Absolutely. And it's the younger generation, younger, of course, than our generation, much younger.
Yep.
That are the ones that determine the future.
So it's on you guys. And for those of us that are our age or older, I know there's a lot about the younger generations that infuriates us all. But if you'll remember, when we were that age, our parents and our grandparents and their generations, we infuriated them too. Just remember, it's growing pains. And when they're in the right, support them. Listen to them. I mean, if it wasn't for younger people kind of going against the grain some, we wouldn't have gaming. We wouldn't have a lot of the technology we have now. So keep that in mind. And, at the very least, guide them a little. But don't completely give up on them. Because if we give up on them, the world's doomed. Just point blank. So.
And in the meantime, get off my lawn.
Yes. All right, guys. We have rambled on enough for one episode. And like I said, you'll be hearing out of us again very soon. Bye, guys.
Later.